Hi, this is Dirty Earth. Today I'm going to be using millet or preparing millet as grain spawn. And I'm going to be washing it really good in this bowl here. And also I'm going to attempt to use my new Instapot for sterilization. This is Dumos, a Dumos, Dumos, Instapot pressure cooker. So now the first thing we want to do is wash our millet off really good. I'm going to add some millet to this bowl here. It's 28 ounces. And I hope I can do 3 jars with it. So what I'm going to be doing is washing and rinsing it really good until the water runs clear. So I'm going to have to take it easy on this. I have deeper bowls. Maybe I should have used a deeper one. I don't know. We'll find out. And before it comes to it, I'm going to be looking and monitoring it so it doesn't swell up or anything like that. But anyway, moving right along. So as you can see, the water is kind of murky, so this is going to take a little bit of time rinsing. Okay, since I've seen several methods of preparing, I've seen no soak and so many different ways of doing it. Since I've soaked mine for a little while, for about an hour, and I like the way they do the no soak method, what I'm going to do is let this drain off a little bit. Now, knowing that my grains are going to be in the sterilizer, in the Dumos Instapot for a couple of hours most likely, I'm going to, what I've done is prepare one of my bags, and I'm going to prepare the other 2 after. What I've done is put a piece of tape on here. I'm going to demonstrate. Now, first thing I've done is I cleaned off the entire surface with alcohol and also my scale. And scissors cleaned with alcohol bottle, cleaned the outside with alcohol. So the next step I'm going to do is now. I start by taking a piece of tape. Okay, I've decided to go with jars instead because the heat-resistant bags I had, they were for roasting and they had a couple holes in them. So what I did is I have 3-quart jars, and I've put holes in the top. I've cleaned them well with alcohol. Now I'm placing aluminum foil over the top so any condensation can drain off. And then I'm going to place them into the Instapot. Okay, I'm doing, excuse me, I'm doing the no-soak method, so I'm going to put some water in here right now. I placed the lid just right where the jars are in between the 4 sections at the top. And now what I've done is I've locked it on close. But see, you can tell when it's locked. For all people like me that didn't know anything about this, the pin goes in when it's locked. So you have it open. Then when you lock it, it goes in closed. Okay, also what you want to have is a tool like this for opening and closing your exhaust. And or you can use tongues. I have tongues, but I was like, wow, this works too, so I can use this. So, and also with the Instapot, you can put your jars directly on the bottom because it's not like a pressure cooker. From what I've heard and from the, okay, in here you see a red pressure valve. And once the pressure starts coming from the condensation in the pot, that red valve here lifts up. And once you're finished with your cooking session, you must not try to force this lid open. What you do is you wait until this red release valve inside here sinks to the bottom, or if you want to do a quick release, what you could do is turn your Instapot to cancel. You cancel right here. And then once you cancel, you want to wait a few moments, like 10 minutes I would. And then you use your utensil to release to exhaust. And once you do that, you wait. I would wait until this valve goes all the way down until you attempt to, and don't attempt to open it until the valve goes all the way down. That's what I'm saying. Okay, now I'm about to start my sterilization of my grains. And so I'm going to put this setting on. Some people use saute, but I'm going to use this on sous vide. And I want to go for approximately 3 hours. So I'm going to start now. So I press my start button, and it won't start, remember, unless everything is right. So let me make sure this is airtight, my valve over here. I want to make sure everything is right. Okay, that is in the correct position. Now I'm just waiting for this to begin. Okay, I guess the unit it was going in a circular motion around here first. I didn't know if it was started. I was kind of intimidated about this first, but we have to start somewhere. So, after a few moments, it went back to 300. So let's see if it's starting now, because it should be ready to start unless my lid is not properly closed. Well, it has started, and I have it set for 3 hours since this is my no-soap method. And that way the grains can expand and take out the extra water from the jars, and we'll go from there, and I'll get back in a few. Hello, I'm back. Now that it's cooled, and I had to wait till the next day because it was getting kind of late. So it's cooled now, and I'm going to open it up. It feels real cool. So I wanted to say, too, we also have this cup back here for condensation spillover. And also I wanted to caution you to please be very careful not to touch the top of this surface or put your face over the exhaust area. And do not, by any means, if you could, not touch this with your hand when you're venting the exhaust. But mine is completely cool, so I can do it because I have waited overnight. But also in here, once you notice that this thing, well, the red relief valve for pressure is down, it's safe to open it. But if it's up, that red piece down here, if it looks like it's up a little bit over the surface, over down there in the surface, do not attempt to open this at all until it is completely cool. And if you want to open it ahead of time, what I'm suggesting is you push the cancel button here in the front, and also slowly take your tool and push this to exhaust where you can let out the air, and then wait for at least like 20 minutes to a half hour before you open it, because it can be dangerous if you open it ahead of time. And now I'm going to take out my jars that I put in here yesterday. I'm going to take it to the open, and here I have it. Everything seems to be fine, and I want to place this into the lid holder on the side, but I don't want all this water spillage on the side, so what I'm going to do is sit it over here on the counter. And I'm going to take out my jars and place them on this cloth here so that everything may be good. Everything is really hydrated, so my next step is for inoculation. Before I inoculate, I'm going to shake these up really well. And so that my grains can get all the way through, and so that I can loosen them so that the liquid culture can get all the way through to all of the grains, and it'll be better for colonization. Now, what I've done, since the grains were so tightly packed into the jars, is to loosen them up with the clean plastic chopstick. And I've loosened the grains up, and now I'm going to break them up in the bag before inoculation. After it's still just a little under hand warm, lukewarm, so I'm going to wait a few before inoculating until they're completely clean. But I wanted to loosen the grains so that when I inoculate, that the culture can get all through there and help with the colonization. Okay, I've done the no soak method, and I'm also doing the soak method. And so if I soak these grains, this millet, overnight, and now I'm going to be placing them into my pressure cooker. But that's another story here. I'll come back to you with that one. I want to see which one works out better. The no soak, which I just did in a handy wrap bag with loosening up the grains, or the soak method. So I'm going to get back to you after I inoculate my grains. Now, every time I place some grains from this jar, which I'm going to close right now, again, I have to be mindful to keep it closed. I place it into the handy wrap bag, which I'm going to try to make this in, which I'm making it into a fruiting block. And so I keep everything covered as I go along. I cover it as quickly as possible so it would not be contaminated. There's no other people in here but me, so I don't have to worry about whirlwind of bacteria coming through, and I speak off of the grains when I talk. But I just want to say my next step would be placing and making this into a homemade bag for fruiting and for grain spawns. And I'll show you that. And here's my lion's mane that I've more than tripled with the live culture I had. So next thing I'm going to do is shake it up. I don't have it in the proper light where you can see the mycelium running through here really thick. So I'm going to shake it up, and then I'm going to fill up my needle once again after I've cleaned everything with alcohol, and it's ready to go. I'm going to inoculate right here. This is not an Instapot. It's a Dumos 8-quart pressure cooker. I'm so familiar with the Instapot and I'm also new with the pressure cooking, and I kept using the name Instapot. But this is a Dumos pressure cooker, and also with my grains that I prepared, I used 350 milliliters of millet and also 150 milliliters of water. Place a piece of microspore tape over the top for ventilation also, and so I'm going to close this up right here, leaving a little space in between, and I will see you soon with the next video. I'm going to put this in in a 65, 75 degree, no more than 80 degree temperature. And thank you for watching, and see you soon.